All right, today the main thing is every single time you have to look for a what? Yeah, GCF, greatest common factor. All right, you have to look for a GCF. All right, so in question number 2, no playing today. What's common? 5x. All right, as soon as you don't know something, you just put your hand up and I try to help you. If you wait till I get down to 20 and before you start asking questions, it's going to be too late. Now, I told you, divide numbers. 5 divided by 5 is 1. X cubed divided by x. You subtract exponents. 45 divided by 5, 9. All right, so that was what we did on Monday of last week. We just factored out GCF. All right. Now, every problem can be factored twice. So now you're supposed to remember from last week, x squared minus 9 factored to what? Someone who remembers. Very good. X plus 3 and x minus 3. Now, why is that? Because the middle term will do what? The middle term cancels. What is x times x? That's your x squared. What's positive 3 times negative 3? That's your negative 9. And this 3x and this negative 3x cancels out the middle term. All right. So everybody's on number 4 now. Somebody be brave. Tell me what the GCF is. 5. All right. So everybody's writing a 5 down. Divide numbers. Divide numbers. So I'm left with x squared minus 7x. That's exactly right. Now, you're asking yourself, what are the factors of 12 that make 7? 3 and 4. So you put a 3 and a 4 down. Smiley face, 3x. 4x makes negative 7x if they are both what? If they're both negative. You got a question?
Yeah, like, so on the first one, we did like 5x, then parentheses, but then you just did 5.
Because there's not a common x. There's not an x over here.
Oh,
There's no x. All right, here we go. What's common in number 6? What is common in number 6?
y.
What kind of y?
Y.
Y squared. So everybody's going to pull out a y squared. What's left behind? X squared. What else?
Negative 10.
Negative 10 what?
X
Plus?
plus 25.
That's exactly right. Everybody good with that? Anybody? All right. Now we got a factor. How do I make x squared? X and x. Come on, just join me. You might surprise yourself. All right, factors of 25 that are 10. 5 and what? 5. I need negative 10. So they're both negative. Now that's an answer. This is the best answer. Y squared parentheses x minus 5 squared. That's the best answer. And why do we get that? Because these two are exactly the same factors.
On the last one, you could have done.
The last one, I could not have done that. They're not the same.
No, on the first one.
No, they're not the same.
Oh, okay.
All right, here we go. Now we have 4 terms. What was the rule when we have 4 terms?
Oh, you do the parentheses.
Factor by, what is it called? Factoring by grouping. We said factoring by grouping. What's common in the first group?
X.
X. What's left behind?
Y.
What?
X squared.
I'm factoring from here an x. X minus 3. All right, what is common over here?
Y.
A y, positive y. What's left behind? X minus 3. What's common?
X minus 3, and then X plus 1.
Thank you. Anybody have an issue? All right, hopefully we're getting a little better. Now remember, when the leading coefficient is negative, you must factor out that negative. So what's common?
Oh, the full.
Negative 2x, right? Negative 2x. Everybody with me on that? Divide numbers. What's negative 10 divided by negative 2? 5. X squared. 4 divided by negative 2. Right. This right here now, make yourself a note. This right here, make yourself a note, does not factor. All right, so sometimes you can only factor out the GCF. All right, you're supposed to be able to tell if you factor it, does that factor again? Does it factor a second time? That's why they call it factoring completely. All right, please make yourself a note. That does not factor.
So for that one, it's
That's
only-
the answer. That is the full answer. All right, number 12, GCF. What's the GCF? Thank you for those of you guys who saw C. 2x squared minus 7x plus 3. Okay. That one should be kind of easy for you to factor. How do I make 2x squared? 2x and 2x and x. Where does the 3 go? On the right. Where's the 1 go? Put your smiley faces in. How much is that? How much is this? And I need -7. They're both negative. All right, come on, guys, help me. 14, GCF. 5. What else?
Just 1.
5y is a GCF.
3.
3 what?
X squared
3x squared.
plus 7. X
Good.
plus 2.
Nice. There you have it. All right. Now that one can factor. What do we got for 3x squared?
3x.
3x and x.
And 2 on the right, 1 on the left,
Two on the right, 1 on the left.
plus 4.
And once again, he knows that because 1x and 6x makes what?
So
7x. All right, 16. What? What's 16? No GCF. There's no GCF. 1 is always a common factor. All right. Is everybody good with that? So now it's just a normal factoring problem. 2 sets of parentheses. How do I make 2x squared? 2x and x. We're about the 5. Where does that go?
right,
Because we want to make how many?
and with that, and then
Yes. 10 with that. because that makes 1.
Simple.
10 and 1 makes 11. There you have it. All right, we're reviewing by grouping, factoring by grouping. All right, here we go. There's 4 terms. That's how I knew we were going to factor by grouping. What's common?
X squared.
X squared. What's left behind?
5 minus 3.
Yes.
2.
Positive 2. Then what?
Oh, 5. Minus.
Now remember, we're looking here, right? 5x minus 3, 5x minus 3. And what's left behind?
X squared plus 2.
All right. Now I'm setting the timer. Hurry up.
Okay, homework done.
All right. I'm setting the timer now. Got 5 minutes. All right. You got 5 minutes. Do as many as you can. At least 5. That's what I'm hoping.